Start changing your paradigms. Today, Chapter 1: The Invisible Prison of Paradigms. You are living inside an invisible prison. The walls are not made of concrete or steel. They are made of ideas, beliefs, and habits that were installed in your mind before you had the capacity to question them. Bob Proctor called this prison your paradigm, and it is the single most powerful force controlling your life right now. Your paradigm is a multitude of habits, a collection of beliefs that were programmed into your subconscious mind through repetition, mostly before the age of 7. And here is the shocking truth: your paradigm controls approximately 95% of your behavior, your decisions, your emotions, and ultimately your results. Think about your life right now. Think about your income, your relationships, your health, your level of happiness. These are not random occurrences. They are not accidents. They are the direct result of your paradigm. Your paradigm is like a thermostat set to a specific temperature. No matter what you do consciously, your subconscious mind will always pull you back to that preset level. If your paradigm says you are worth $50,000 a year, you can work as hard as you want, but you will find ways to sabotage yourself, to miss opportunities, to stay exactly where your paradigm says you belong. This is why so many people feel stuck in a loop of limited results. They set goals. They make plans. They try harder. But nothing changes. They lose the same 20 pounds only to gain it back. They start businesses that fail. They repeat the same relationship patterns over and over. And they cannot understand why. The reason is simple: they are trying to change their results without changing their paradigm. They are rearranging the furniture in their prison cell and calling it freedom. Bob Proctor spent decades studying the minds of the most successful people on earth, and he discovered something profound. Success is not about intelligence. It is not about education. It is not about working harder. Success is about having a paradigm that supports the results you desire. The wealthy think differently than the poor. The healthy think differently than the sick. The happy think differently than the miserable. And the difference is not in their circumstances. The difference is in their paradigm. Your paradigm was not chosen by you. It was handed to you. It was programmed into your subconscious mind by your parents, your teachers, your culture, your religion, and every experience you had during your formative years. You absorbed their beliefs about money, about success, about what is possible, about who you are and what you deserve. And now those beliefs are running your life like an autopilot system, operating beneath your conscious awareness, making decisions for you, keeping you inside the boundaries of what feels familiar and safe. But here is the liberating truth that Bob Proctor dedicated his life to teaching. You can change your paradigm. You are not stuck. You are not destined to repeat the same patterns forever. You have the power to reprogram your subconscious mind, to install new beliefs, to break free from the invisible prison and create a life that reflects your true potential. The question is not whether you can change. The question is whether you will do what is necessary to change. Because changing your paradigm is not easy. It requires understanding, discipline, and relentless commitment. But it is possible. And it begins with awareness. Chapter 2: Why Knowledge is Not Enough. Look around you and you will see a paradox that puzzles most people. You will see highly educated individuals, people with multiple degrees, people who have read hundreds of books, people who know all the right theories and principles, and yet they are broke, unhappy, and unfulfilled. At the same time, you will see people who never finished high school, people who have no formal credentials, people who by all conventional measures should not succeed, and yet they are building empires, creating wealth, and living extraordinary lives. How is this possible? The answer lies in understanding the difference between knowledge and conditioning. Bob Proctor explained this phenomenon through what he called the knowing-doing gap. Most people believe that if they just learn more, if they just acquire more information, if they just understand the principles of success, then they will automatically succeed. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how the mind works. Knowledge resides in the conscious mind. It is intellectual. It is logical. It is what you know. But behavior is controlled by the subconscious mind. It is emotional. It is automatic. It is what you do. And there is a vast difference between knowing what to do and actually doing it. You can know that you should save money, but if your paradigm is programmed with beliefs of scarcity, you will spend every dollar you earn. You can know that you should exercise, but if your paradigm is programmed with habits of laziness and instant gratification, you will find every excuse to avoid the gym. You can know that you should think positively, but if your paradigm is programmed with patterns of worry and fear, your mind will automatically default to negativity. Knowledge alone changes nothing. Knowledge must penetrate past the conscious mind and into the subconscious mind where your paradigm lives. And this requires a completely different approach. This is why brilliant people fail. They have an abundance of knowledge, but that knowledge never makes it into their subconscious programming. They understand success intellectually, but they have not changed the emotional patterns, the habitual behaviors, the automatic responses that govern their daily actions. They are trying to drive a car with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. Their conscious mind wants success, but their subconscious mind is programmed for limitation. And the subconscious always wins. Meanwhile, those with little formal education often succeed because they have a paradigm that supports action, risk-taking, persistence, and belief. They may not be able to articulate the principles of success in academic language, but they embody those principles at a subconscious level. They do not overthink. They do not talk themselves out of opportunities. They do not have layers of limiting beliefs disguised as sophistication and skepticism. They simply act in alignment with a paradigm of possibility, and their results reflect that alignment. Bob Proctor was himself living proof of this truth. He was a high school dropout earning $4,000 a year, deeply in debt with no prospects and no hope. Then he read one book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and something shifted. Not just in what he knew, but in what he believed at a subconscious level. He began to change his paradigm, and within months his income exploded. Within a few years he was earning over $1 million annually. The same person. The same brain. But a completely different paradigm. This is the power of understanding that knowledge is not enough. You must go deeper. You must reprogram the subconscious mind itself. Chapter 3: The Language of the Subconscious. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful computer ever created, but it operates according to very specific rules. And if you do not understand these rules, you will spend your entire life fighting against yourself. Bob Proctor taught that the subconscious mind is totally deductive. This means it does not reason. It does not question. It does not analyze. It simply accepts whatever is impressed upon it and then works tirelessly to bring that impression into physical reality. The subconscious mind is the servant. It does not decide what is true or false, good or bad, helpful or harmful. It simply obeys. This is both the great danger and the great opportunity of human existence. During the first 7 years of your life, your brain was operating primarily in theta wave state, a hypnotic state where the critical factor of the conscious mind had not yet developed. You were like a sponge, absorbing everything around you without filter or judgment. Every word your parents spoke about money, every emotion they expressed about success, every pattern they demonstrated in their behavior was being recorded directly into your subconscious mind as truth. You had no ability to reject these ideas. You simply absorbed them. If your parents said money does not grow on trees, your subconscious recorded that as a fact. If they said rich people are greedy, your subconscious accepted that as truth. If they struggled and complained and lived in fear of financial insecurity, your subconscious observed those patterns and installed them as the default programming for how life works. And now, decades later, you are still running those same programs. You are still operating from the beliefs and habits that were installed when you were too young to choose them. This is why most people's financial results mirror their parents' financial results. This is why most people repeat the same relationship dynamics they witnessed growing up. This is why generational patterns of poverty, addiction, and dysfunction continue cycle after cycle. Not because of genetics. Not because of lack of opportunity. But because of subconscious programming. The paradigm is passed down like an invisible inheritance, and most people never even realize they are carrying it. But here is what you must understand. The subconscious mind does not care when something was programmed. It does not care if a belief is old or new, true or false. It simply responds to whatever is currently being impressed upon it with the most emotional intensity and repetition. This means you can reprogram your subconscious mind right now, today, at any age. You can install new beliefs. You can create new habits. You can replace the old paradigm with a new one, but you must speak the language that the subconscious understands. The subconscious does not respond to logic. It responds to feeling and repetition. It does not respond to wishes. It responds to commands delivered with conviction. It does not respond to occasional effort. It responds to consistent, persistent impression over time. Bob Proctor discovered that if you want to change your paradigm, you must bypass the conscious mind with its doubt and skepticism, and you must impress new ideas directly into the subconscious with the same intensity and repetition that the old ideas were originally installed. This is not a one-time event. This is a deliberate, disciplined process. And it begins with identifying exactly what needs to be replaced. Chapter 4. The Process of Replacement. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. You cannot replace what you have not identified. The first step in changing your paradigm is to bring the unconscious into consciousness, to shine a light on the limiting beliefs that have been running your life in the shadows. Bob Proctor taught a simple but powerful technique that anyone can use starting today. Take out a piece of paper. At the top, write down one area of your life where you are not getting the results you want. Could be money. Could be health. It could be relationships. Choose one. Now, under that heading, write down every limiting belief you have about that area. Do not filter. Do not judge. Just write. If it is money, you might write, money is hard to come by. Rich people are lucky. I'm not good with money. I will never be wealthy. There is not enough to go around. I do not deserve abundance. Money is the root of all evil. Write until you have emptied your mind of every negative belief you have been carrying, often for decades, about this subject. These beliefs are the bars of your prison. You must see them clearly before you can dismantle them. Once you have your list, here is what you do. Take each limiting belief and replace it with the exact positive opposite, written in the present tense as if it is already true. This is critical. You are not writing what you hope will be true someday. You are writing what you are claiming is true right now. If the old belief was money is hard to come by, the new belief is money flows to me easily and consistently. If the old belief was I am not good with money, the new belief is I am excellent at managing and multiplying money. If the old belief was I do not deserve abundance, the new belief is I am worthy of unlimited prosperity. Write these new beliefs on a fresh piece of paper or on index cards. Make them bold. Make them clear. Make them undeniable. These are your new instructions to your subconscious mind. But here is where most people fail. They write the new beliefs once, they read them once, they feel inspired for a moment, and then they go back to living from the old paradigm. And nothing changes. Bob Proctor was emphatic about this. Writing the new belief is only the beginning. Now you must impress it into your subconscious mind through repetition and emotion. Read your new beliefs out loud every single morning as soon as you wake up. Read them again every single night before you go to sleep. Read them with feeling. Read them with conviction. Do not just mouth the words. Feel them. See yourself living them. Imagine what your life looks like when these beliefs are fully operational. The subconscious mind learns through repetition and emotional intensity. You are not trying to convince your conscious mind. Your conscious mind will resist. Your conscious mind will say this is not true, you are lying to yourself, this is foolish. Ignore that voice. You are speaking past the conscious mind directly to the subconscious, and the subconscious will accept whatever you repeat with enough feeling and frequency. Bob Proctor changed his entire life using this exact process. He wrote on a card, I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources on a continuous basis. He read that card hundreds of times a day. He carried it with him everywhere. He saturated his mind with that new belief until it replaced the old belief of poverty and lack. And his external world shifted to match his internal programming. This is not magic. This is mechanics. This is how the mind works. And you can start this process today. Chapter 5. Repetition is the key to success. If there is one principle that separates those who transform their lives from those who remain stuck, it is this: repetition. Bob Proctor said it over and over again because most people do not want to hear it. They want the quick fix. They want the secret shortcut. They want to attend one seminar, read one book, write their new beliefs one time, and expect their entire life to change. But that is not how paradigms shift. Paradigms shift through relentless, consistent, daily repetition of new ideas until those ideas become the new automatic programming. Think about how the old paradigm was installed. It was not installed through one conversation. It was installed through thousands of repetitions over years. Every time your parents said you cannot afford that, every time you heard money does not grow on trees, every time you witnessed struggle and limitation, that message was being reinforced. Layer upon layer upon layer until it became your truth. And now you expect to undo decades of programming with a few minutes of positive thinking? It does not work that way. You must fight repetition with repetition. This is why Bob Proctor was such a strong advocate for listening to personal development audiobooks and recorded affirmations every single day. He did not listen once and move on. He listened to the same material over and over and over again. He would listen to Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret hundreds of times. He would play recordings of his goals and affirmations in his car, in his home, before bed, first thing in the morning. He understood that the subconscious mind requires repetition to accept new programming. One exposure creates awareness. 100 exposures create belief. 1,000 exposures create transformation. When you listen to empowering ideas repeatedly, something miraculous happens. At first, your conscious mind resists, says, I have heard this before. I already know this. This is not new. But that resistance is actually a sign that the message is beginning to penetrate. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Eventually, the conscious resistance weakens. The ideas start to feel familiar. They start to feel comfortable. They start to feel true. And when they feel true, they have entered your subconscious mind. And when they enter your subconscious mind, your behavior begins to change automatically. You do not need willpower to act on a belief that is installed in your subconscious. You do not need discipline to do something that feels natural. When your paradigm supports wealth, you will naturally think thoughts of abundance, make decisions that create prosperity, and take actions that generate income. It will not feel like work. It will feel like who you are. But you will never reach that point without daily, disciplined repetition. This is why most people fail. They start strong. They listen for a few days or a few weeks. Then life gets busy. Then they get distracted. Then they stop. And the old paradigm, which has decades of momentum behind it, reasserts itself. And they are right back where they started. Bob Proctor lived this principle until his final days. Even after 50 years of success, even after teaching millions of people, he still listened to personal development material every single day. He still read his goals every single day. He still practiced the disciplines that transformed his life. Because he understood that the moment you stop reinforcing the new paradigm, the old paradigm begins to creep back in. Repetition is not something you do until you succeed. Repetition is something you do for the rest of your life. It is the price of maintaining the consciousness that creates success. And it is a price worth paying. Chapter 6. The Terror Barrier and Freedom. As you begin to change your paradigm, as you begin to impress new beliefs into your subconscious mind, something uncomfortable is going to happen. Bob Proctor called it the terror barrier, and it is the point where most people turn back. The terror barrier is the wall of fear, anxiety, and doubt that rises up whenever you try to move beyond the limits of your current paradigm. It is your subconscious mind's way of protecting you from the unknown, from anything that does not match your existing programming. And it feels absolutely real. When you set a goal that is far beyond anything you have achieved before, when you step toward a dream that your paradigm says is impossible, you will feel fear. Not just a little nervousness. Real, visceral, paralyzing fear. Your heart will race. Your mind will flood with thoughts of failure, embarrassment, and disaster. You will feel an overwhelming urge to retreat, to go back to what is familiar, to stay where it is safe. This is the terror barrier. And almost everyone who encounters it believes the fear is a sign that they are doing something wrong, that they should stop, that they are not ready. But the opposite is true. The terror barrier is a sign that you are doing something right. It is a sign that you are pushing against the boundaries of your paradigm. It is a sign that you are about to break through into a new level of consciousness and capability. Bob Proctor taught that fear is not the enemy. Ignorance is the enemy. When you do not understand what is happening, when you do not understand that the terror barrier is a natural part of the growth process, you will interpret the fear as a stop sign. But when you understand that the fear is simply your old paradigm resisting change, you can move through it with confidence. The terror barrier is not solid. It is not a real wall. It is a psychological phenomenon, a burst of negative emotion designed to keep you in your comfort zone. And like all emotions, it will pass if you do not give in to it. Bob Proctor would say, feel the fear and do it anyway. Do not wait for the fear to go away before you take action. Take action in spite of the fear. Because the moment you push through the terror barrier, the moment you do the thing you are afraid to do, the fear loses its power. You realize it was just a feeling. You realize you are stronger than you thought. You realize that freedom is on the other side. Every successful person Bob Proctor ever studied had encountered the terror barrier multiple times. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not that successful people do not feel fear. The difference is that successful people understand fear and they move through it. They do not let temporary discomfort rob them of permanent transformation. They know that on the other side of the terror barrier is a new paradigm, a new level of results, a new version of themselves. And they are willing to endure a few moments of intense discomfort to reach that new reality. So when you feel the fear rising, when you feel the anxiety gripping your chest, when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to stop and turn back, recognize what is happening. You are at the threshold. You are at the edge of your old paradigm. You are about to break free. And all you have to do is take one more step. Do not analyze the fear. Do not try to make it go away. Just move through it. Take the action. Make the call. Launch the business. Have the conversation. Whatever it is that terrifies you, do it. And you will discover that freedom is not the absence of fear. Freedom is the courage to act in the presence of fear. This is how you shatter the invisible prison. This is how you claim your new reality. Chapter 7. Start your new reality today. Everything you have learned in this message comes down to one question. What are you going to do with this information? Knowledge without application is worthless. Understanding without action changes nothing. Bob Proctor did not transform his life by knowing the principles. He transformed his life by living the principles every single day with unwavering commitment. And now the same opportunity is before you. You can close this video and go back to your old patterns, your old beliefs, your old results. Or you can decide right now, in this moment, that today is the day your new reality begins. You do not need to have it all figured out. You do not need to see the entire path. You do not need to know how it is all going to work. You just need to make the decision. Decide that you are no longer willing to live inside the invisible prison of your old paradigm. Decide that you are worthy of more, capable of more, destined for more. Decide that you are going to do whatever it takes to reprogram your subconscious mind and install a new paradigm of success, abundance, and freedom. The decision is everything. The decision is the spark that ignites the transformation. Take out a piece of paper right now. Write down the one area of your life that you are committed to changing. Write down the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back. Write down the new beliefs, the exact positive opposites in the present tense. Read them out loud with feeling. Do this every morning. Do this every night. Listen to empowering audiobooks and affirmations every single day. Saturate your mind with the new ideas until they replace the old ideas. Do this for 30 days without missing a single day. Do not judge the results. Do not look for evidence. Just stay faithful to the process. And watch what happens. Bob Proctor used to say, hold the image of what you want in your mind. Do not let doubt creep in. Do not let fear stop you. Do not let other people's opinions derail you. See yourself as already successful. Feel yourself as already wealthy. Think from the end result, not toward it. Act as if the transformation has already occurred, and your subconscious mind will go to work to make it real. This is not pretending. This is programming. This is how you communicate with the most powerful force in your life. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not limited by your past. You are not defined by your current results. You are a creative being with infinite potential, and the only thing standing between you and the life you desire is an outdated paradigm that you have the power to change. Start today. Start now. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait until you feel ready. Do not wait for someone to give you permission. You already have everything you need. You have a mind. You have the knowledge. You have the technique. All you need now is the decision and the discipline to follow through. Your new reality is not something that happens to you. It is something you create through the consistent, deliberate reprogramming of your subconscious mind. It is something you build thought by thought, belief by belief, day by day. And it begins today, right now, in this moment. Make the decision. Write the new beliefs. Read them with conviction. Listen to the ideas that empower you. Move through the terror barrier when it appears. And never ever give up. Because on the other side of this process is a version of you that you can barely imagine right now. A version of you that is free, abundant, joyful, and unstoppable. That version is waiting. That version is calling. And that version begins with the choice you make right now. Start changing your paradigms today. Your new reality is already here. Claim it,